Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all today on Tuesday, January 27th. I hope everyone's having a phenomenal start to their day. Hopefully, if you lost power, you got power back. I hope everybody's staying safe from the storms. Y'all wouldn't believe it, but down here in North Carolina, today it was 14 degrees when I woke up. 14 degrees. It's like I'm back in Metro Detroit. I don't know what the hell is going on around here, but I'm sick of it. I'm truly sick of it. Apparently as well, there's another snowstorm coming down south this Saturday. They're expecting 4 to 5 inches. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like getting 4 to 5 inches unless you know what? This is a family-friendly podcast. So let me just not finish what I was about to say. I hope the weather is okay where you guys are at. I hear in Massachusetts, they're getting another 13 inches and we're getting about 4 inches. Listen, they said we're getting 10 inches and we got like half an inch and a sheet of ice. So that's about all we're working with. So we'll see I don't know why this doesn't happen during the week. Like why can't these snowstorms happen during the week, not the weekend? Because now it's another weekend and I'm not doing shit. Anyways, guys, I hope y'all are staying safe. I hope you guys are staying warm. Did anybody else run to Costco, try to buy bottles of water over the weekend, and they were fully out because apparently old white people were camping out at the Costco at 6 a.m. so that they open at 10:30 to buy bottles of water? Because that's what happened at my Costco. So I had to opt, just in case my pipes froze and we didn't have water, I had to opt and buy some Fiji water. I spent $44 on 2 cases of Fiji freaking water. Guess what? Not opened. I'm taking it back this week. Well, after the snowstorm happens, I'm taking it back. We're not opening them because we didn't lose our water. We didn't lose power. I'm taking them back and I'm returning it because no way I had to spend $44 on Fiji water. I am not that bougie. Anyways, this is a basketball podcast, right? I hope everybody's doing well. YouTube chat, TikTok chat. All I need for you guys is keep spamming that like button. Double tap that like button. I hear the U.S. government now owns TikTok, and they are completely ruining everybody's For You pages, as well as uploads. So if your For You page isn't messed up and you guys normally watch me, be sure to drop a like, keep double tapping that screen, and drop a follow on whatever platform you're watching, because we do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. And Twitch chat, all y'all got to do is simple. It's very simple. Very simple. Sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the show. Ladies and gents, we have a very fun episode for y'all today. We're going to talk about only 2 games from last night. All the rest of the games are sort of snooze fests. But we're going to do a different segment today. A different segment, okay? We're going to talk a little NBA trades, sure, just a little bit. But then we're also going to talk about a segment about today's modern day undesirables, and I'm only going to name a few, and I want to like sort of maybe entice you guys on another possible episode that we can do that's another 2 hours long like we did last Friday. So be sure to stick around to the end because I promise I saved the best for last. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started and talk about you guys might have saw the title. If you're watching on YouTube, you saw the thumbnail. I thought it was creative. Y'all can holler at me if you've ever heard this. Orlando has lost their magic. Orlando has lost their magic as they fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers for 2 games straight, and the Orlando Magic have lost 4 games in a row. Now, I've talked about the Magic way too much this year. I'm headlining with them today. So Mark, my big Magic fan, I got to give you a shout out when I start this podcast. Okay. The main reason being is because Mark told me 2 days ago that he didn't watch the game because he's watching his mental health. And I swore to myself I wouldn't say this again, a certain thing about this team, but I'm going to say a certain thing about this team yet again. I am. I'm going to end this segment off with the thing that I always say about the Orlando Magic and sort of what all of you guys, fans of your own franchises, need to remember before you make the same mistake as the Orlando Magic. Desmond Bane with a smooth 19 points, 7 for 17 from the field, and he was a minus 17 on the court. Now, I want you guys to understand that Desmond Bane has been put on such a high pedestal for this team. Desmond Bane is not that guy. Desmond Bane's a guy that's going to get you an efficient 25 or an inefficient sub 20. And that is who Desmond Bane is as a player. That's who Desmond Bane has been as a player. When you have your fan base that is quite literally taking nights off to watch your team, to protect their mental health, that speaks more than just volumes. That is hooked up to like 10 Bose speakers is how loud that is. Now, Anthony Black, you're doing more than what you were supposed to. You got 14 points on an inefficient 6 for 14, but that's okay. Because when you look at the Orlando Magic, it's not supposed to fall on Anthony Black. It's supposed to fall on Paolo Banchero. Shout out him. He actually had a good game last night. And Franz Wagner, who, again, it's like the same thing that happened last year, folks. And I got to talk about this one more time for everybody in the back, everybody up front. Jalen Suggs had 4 points, 2 for 13 from the field. I need you guys to hear me, okay? Loud and clear, please. The Orlando Magic last year did not live up to expectations. Now, do we know why? Part of it could be because of the coach. Part of it could be injuries. Now, I'm on the boat of saying injuries and not enough shooting. I think we can all agree they were the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA last year. So when we talk about the Orlando Magic, my point being is last year, injuries derailed them. I remember like it was yesterday. I believe they started off hot. They were like a top two team in the league. And then Paolo Banchero went down with an oblique injury. Okay. Paolo comes out. He's out for a few weeks. Franz Wagner is carrying the team. And then what happens to Franz? He suffers an oblique injury. Okay. Franz sits out. Who comes back? Paolo comes back. Paolo comes back. He's chilling. Mo Wagner, Franz's brother, tears his ACL, I think. Is his ACL, I think. And he's out. Okay. Then Paolo goes out again and they start sucking because they don't have anybody left. Okay. And then they get Franz back. And then they got Paolo back right before the playoffs. And then they go into the playoffs. And I don't know about you guys. I remember watching some of these games. I flew up to Detroit to watch the Pistons in the playoffs versus the Knicks. And I was at a hookah lounge. And I remember watching the Celtics and Magic. And I was like, man, this Magic team, they're aggressive, man. They're making the Celtics work. And they were. They were making the Celtics work. The only issue is they could not shoot. So when you're up against a team that's attempting 50 to 60 three-point shots a night, and you're attempting 15 and only hitting 3, there comes a point in time where you say, okay, we need to learn how to shoot threes. We need to gain the repertoire to gain the ability of shooting threes. So what did they do going into the offseason? They got a guy that's good at shooting threes. The unfortunate part about that is there's much cheaper guys on the market. Much cheaper guys. They ended up trading 4 first-round picks and another pick swap, so 5 picks, to the Memphis Grizzlies for Desmond Bane. Now, this is where I have to cut you off. In a summer where there were shooters available, like, as inconsistent as he is, Simone Fontecchio, Duncan Robinson, hell, the greatest three-point shooter in NBA history, percentage-wise, Luke Kennard. For having so many available shooters in the summer, the fact that they started their summer off, and I believe they did the trade, Magic fans, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they traded for Desmond Bane before the NBA draft. I think they might have traded for him. Was it not during the finals, but was it immediately after the finals? The Orlando Magic rushed. They jumped the gun and they went for a guy. I think it was during the finals. I think I am right. I think it was during the finals. And unfortunately, no, I'm being told we tried all those guys and couldn't get them. That's bullshit. My apologies, Mark, my biggest Magic fan in my Twitch chat. That's bullshit. You guys went for Desmond Bane before the offseason even started. So my biggest issue with the Orlando Magic is they jumped the gun. They went for one guy who can shoot. They didn't go for all the other shooters. They just rushed the gun and went for Desmond Bane, and they ran out of cap space. There's a reason they couldn't get Luke Kennard. There's a reason they couldn't get Duncan Robinson. There's a reason they couldn't get Simone Fontecchio. There's a reason they couldn't get any of these other additional three-point shooters because they didn't have cap space. And that's because they went for Desmond Bane. That is why the Orlando Magic have the second most expensive roster next year. I'm being told that the Desmond Bane trade happened on June 15th. This is the biggest issue with this team. And I want everybody to listen to me and listen good, man. I sound like my mom by saying that. Listen to me and listen to me fucking good. For all of you franchises who are like a few pieces away and you have a young, fun team, this is what happens when you say, I want to be good now. You traded your entire future, you mortgaged your future for a good player. But Desmond Bane, let's not get it twisted. He's a last piece for a championship team. Before this team, did you look at them and say, man, if they had Desmond Bane, they could be a championship contending team? Fuck no. 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 So now here's what's happening. The Orlando Magic are on a 4-game skid, and it's not like they're out of the playoffs. They are right now, but it's not like they're just out, right? It's not like this team is over. They're just over and out. But here's what I will tell you. This team now, fast forward to this season, right? They're stuck with Desmond Bane. They're stuck with Paolo Banchero. They're stuck with Franz Wagner. And now they lost the single thing that made them good last year. And you know what's insane about it? They didn't lose anybody. Why is their defense so miserable? This was a team that we were gassing up and giving credit to for their defense being so good. They're a bottom 15 team in defense now, when they were just top 5 last year in every advanced metric defensively. So let's continue with this topic. Rebounding's an issue. I feel like Wendell Carter Jr. having a center like that now is like the worst thing you can have in the NBA. My apologies. At least he has, what's his girlfriend's name? Angel Reese. Shout out them. He stopped playing hard on defense, and that's the biggest thing. Now he's hanging around the perimeter, hanging around the three-point line, and that's what this team has become. When you have Paolo Banchero, who can't play off ball, when you have Wendell Carter Jr. that can't play off ball, when you have, God, I don't want to be mean to him, but a rookie Impenda who can't hold on to the ball, when you have all of these players that are horrible off the ball, same with Suggs, this cannot be a competitive team. I don't care that you're getting Franz back, because here's what's going to happen. The Orlando Magic are going to remember how to play defense, whether it's before they fire Mosley or it's after they fire Mosley, okay? Because I still think that should happen. I think at first you always have to blame the coach, and then if it's still bad, then you have to make a decision. So here's what's going to happen with the Orlando Magic. This is not an over-exaggeration at all. I've been saying this all season long because they are underperforming. I was told that this Orlando Magic team was going to leap the Pistons. I was told the Atlanta Hawks were going to leap the Pistons. That's what I was told this year by ESPN, by SportsCenter, by Bleacher Report, by chat, by all of the internet. I was told that the Orlando Magic and Atlanta Hawks were going to leap the Pistons. When people forget that the biggest attribute to a basketball team now in professional basketball is integrity. If you don't have team integrity, then what else do you have? When you look at the Orlando Magic, they can learn how to play defense again. At the same time, defense is 98% effort. If you're not putting that effort, then you're not going to be a good defensive team. And right now, they're not looking like a good defense. They're not a good defensive team whatsoever. So what happens from here, guys? What happens from here? Mosley gets fired. They crawl into the playoffs. They maybe win a game off of one of the top seeded teams. And that's what happens, right? Now, you say this team needs a point guard. This team needs a starting center. This team needs a starting point guard. Now, your issue is that they have the second most expensive team next year. They can't get you a point guard. They can't. They can't get you a center. They can't get you any more pieces to this team. This team that the Magic have right now is their team, because nobody's going to take Jalen Suggs, and if they do, you're going to lose that trade. Nobody's going to take Wendell Carter Jr., because if you do, you're going to lose that trade. None of the players on the Orlando Magic right now have any value whatsoever. Maybe Paolo, because you can convince yourself that he's got talent. And Franz. You're not getting back 5 first-round picks for Desmond Bane. You jumped the gun, and this is the repercussion. So now here's what's going to happen, and I'm going to say it again, okay? The Orlando Magic, they're going to flame out. They're going to finish this year out. And then next year, they're going to try one more time. They're going to try. They're going to try. And when they inevitably don't win the championship next year, because I know what you guys are saying. I know you guys are thinking, well, what if they go up to the 4th seed next year? That's fine. What if they go up to the 2nd seed next year? That's fine. But their schedule, they have to win a championship next year. Ladies and gentlemen, the Orlando Magic need to win a championship next year, because otherwise they go into the second apron the following year, because otherwise they have the most expensive roster in the entire NBA. You know what that means, right? The Cleveland Cavaliers this year have the most expensive salary in the entire NBA. The Cleveland Cavaliers. So if the Cavs don't win this year, then they failed. They got to rebuild. That's how it works. If you jump the gun and go for a home run in today's NBA, you are going to suffer for the next decade. That's what the Cavs did. They're not going to win it all this year, but they have to. Next year, the Orlando Magic have to win, but they're not going to. So what happens then, ladies and gents? When they don't win next year, they have to trade Franz, or they have to trade Paolo. They got to blow it the fuck up and build around one of them when next year they inevitably don't win the championship. This is the unfortunate truth of the Orlando Magic, and I've been preaching it all season long. All season long. Their schedule, their window was this big, and now it's this big. They shrunk their window because they thought Desmond Bane would be the final piece. So now they have to win this year. Next year. Otherwise, they got to trade Paolo or they got to trade Franz. This is the unfortunate truth of so many young teams around the NBA. Do not make that final push trade when you are nowhere near that final push. Had the Orlando Magic made it to the conference finals last year and lost to, let's say, the Knicks or the Pacers, awesome. That Bane trade should put you over the edge. They didn't win a playoff series. Why did you think adding the last piece to a championship level team in Bane? Why did you think that would, what's that going to do? Win you a playoff series? With that amount of salary, you have to win the championship. And unfortunately, the Orlando Magic just don't. They don't have it. And that's why I headlined today's episode as Orlando lost their magic. They don't play defense. They can't shoot the three. And when you can't do either of those things, you're going to get cooked. You're going to get cooked. It's truly unfortunate because I was really rooting for the Orlando Magic, and to see how high they were 2 years ago. It's depressing. It's depressing that they got cucked by their GM. They got very desperate. They wanted to compete. And like I said, when you have a super Magic fan in my Twitch chat take nights off of watching his team for his mental health, that speaks more than just volumes, ladies and gentlemen. TikTok, YouTube, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing right in to the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. We do these streams Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Sometimes I don't go live on TikTok, but we're live all the time on Twitch. I'd love for you guys to come through, come join some real basketball enjoyers, some real ball knowledge people in my Twitch stream. There's over 100 of y'all over there. I'd love to see like 5 of you guys swing on into the Twitch and get involved in the conversation. I know you guys are asking a lot of questions over there, but I'm truly responding to my Twitch chat almost the entire time. It's very rare when I'm responding to TikTok because TikTok normally doesn't bring out good opinions. So if you guys want to share your good opinions and good takes and good questions, be sure to leave the TikTok and come through to the Twitch stream. I'm being told from my super Magic fans saying we'll be fine when we're healthy. Second half of the season is going to turn it around. I got faith. I'm not denying that. But is this a championship level team? Absolutely not. Do you guys have to win the championship next year? Yes. Otherwise, bye-bye to Paolo or bye-bye to Franz. By the way, you guys will not find another NBA talker, another podcast. You guys won't find a podcast that headlines with the Orlando Magic, let alone brings up the next team, which is another small market team. Everyone else is talking about the Lakers beating the fucking Bulls. Well, guess what? Today, because this is the kind of podcaster I am, we're talking about the Orlando Magic, and then guess what? We're talking about the best bad team in the NBA, and that's the Charlotte Hornets. You better watch out, man, because this team is coming, and when they come all over the other team. I'd like to give a special shout out to Braylon for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you a lot, Braylon. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody that's leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I want you guys over here, man. Diego, everyone. I need y'all to come through to the Twitch. Nobody does it like we do it. Everyone else talking about the Lakers beating the Chicago Bulls. We're talking about the teams that actually matter. Let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets. Did I stutter? Podcast? Did I stutter? Live crew? I didn't stutter. I said what I said. The Charlotte Hornets absolutely expose the Philadelphia 76ers 130-93. And that's why the headline of this segment is the Charlotte Hornets are the best bad team as they blow out the 76ers. My homie Braylon left the TikTok and came through to the Twitch and said, thanks for talking about the Magic. Braylon, I talk about the Magic a lot, my boy. Join the Discord. Exclamation point Discord in the chat. We'd love to have you join up. And guys, remember, if you watch the Twitch stream, 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 sub so you no longer get ads on Twitch, okay? So Braylon, thank you so much for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I hope more of you guys come over here. Let's go ahead and talk about the Charlotte Hornets, right? They're the best bad team in the NBA, okay? And by that, I mean, you know what's hilarious? This Charlotte Hornets team, I'm going to say a statistic that I guarantee even Hornets fans. Skylar, I'm talking to you. Hollow, I'm talking to you. I need you guys to tell me if you knew this stat. Did you guys know for the first time in NBA history, the Charlotte Hornets are doing something, and it's not even that much of a stat like pad. It's not. The Charlotte Hornets are the first ever team that is at least 5 games below 500 halfway into an NBA season. They're 9 games below 500, by the way, with a positive plus minus. That's right. The Charlotte Hornets are 9 games below 500, and they have a positive plus minus. Did you guys know that? Because I didn't. I had to look it up just to verify this fact. The Charlotte Hornets, even though they are 9 games below 500, they are a plus 1.3 when playing basketball this year. So when they're beating teams, they're stomping teams. And that's what's so fun about these Charlotte Hornets. No Drip Juju, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, very much, my man. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I need more people like you. I need more people like you to come through to the Twitch, my boy. I appreciate it. Be sure to join the Discord as well. So the Charlotte Hornets, let's talk about it. Now, my opinion hasn't changed about this team. I still believe I'm like caught in a crossfire right now, because as much as I want to say that the Charlotte Hornets are going to be the Detroit Pistons next year from last year, not this year's Detroit Pistons, last year's Detroit Pistons where they turn it around for the first time, as much as I want to say that, I'm struggling like declaring that, okay? So the Hornets, as you guys know, are still pretty far below outside the play-in. The Hornets are 3.5 games out of the play-in. 3.5. They could make the play-in. Now, all that means is you're dependent on your star players being healthy. Now, I just want to remind y'all, in games that Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, and Con Knueppel all play, this team is 500. So I need you guys to think about that real quick. If they are healthy, they're 500 with this current roster construction. So they very well could have been the Pistons of last year, this year. Had they been healthy, and here's the thing, guys, something that nobody's really talking about. LaMelo Ball this year, he's already played 34 games. He played 47 the year before. The year before that, he played 22. The year before that, he played 36. This is going to be, I'm not jinxing anything. This should be the most games LaMelo Ball has played since 2022, y'all. 2022. That's 4 years. Now, this is something that I just got to show everybody. This starting lineup, Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, Con Knueppel, Diabetes, and LaMelo Ball, that's a 500 squad right there. So when I tell y'all, this team, bro, plus 40 from Brandon Miller, plus 28 from Con Knueppel, plus 32 from Diabetes, plus 36 from LaMelo. I'm going to say this, and I understand that people might just discredit me immediately. But if LaMelo and Brandon Miller can stay healthy, this is a play-in team. This is a play-in team without a doubt in my mind. My biggest issue is that Health is something you cannot predict. Health is something you cannot predict. And that's where my biggest problem lies with this team. I want them to be good. I want them to be great, right? And they're showing you the template. They're showing you that they can play, right? Now, to give them credit, they all shot pretty well, except for LaMelo Ball. LaMelo just jacks up shots and sometimes doesn't work out. As much as I want to say, trade LaMelo, I just can't. Because Brandon Miller, I'm a huge fan of him. I'm a ginormous fan of Brandon Miller. His biggest issue is health as well. Brandon Miller, his past few years, he played 27 games last year and then 74 the year previous to his rookie year. So he's already played 30. He's already played more games this year than last year. And that's sort of the trajectory. I want to just show you guys, Brandon Miller's averaging over 20 points per game, 43% from the field and 37% from three. And LaMelo Ball is not that bad when you truly look at it. 41% from the field and 36% from three, averaging 19 points a game. But their biggest star right now is Con Knips. He may not be putting the most points per game, but this guy is a winning player. 42% from deep on 8 attempts per game, something a rookie has never done in their entire career. Take up that many threes, ever. Fastest rookie to ever hit 100 threes in a game in his career. I want to give a special shout outs too to Sammy DeDuke and SB Juice. Thank you guys so much for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you gentlemen very, very much. Be sure to type !Discord in the Twitch chat and join the Discord up. We're looking for all these fans for all of these sports teams. So be sure to join the Discord as well. Big shout out to Tyler Hutto as well. Thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, Tyler. I appreciate you very, very much. Again, guys, if you watch the Twitch stream for 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription, okay? All you got to do is watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, and I will gift you a $5 subscription. Now, I can talk forever about the Charlotte Hornets, and my biggest regret about this team is that because they're the Charlotte Hornets, because they always get hurt, because they never have luck on their side, it's hard for me to root for this team. And for somebody, I'm from Detroit, right? And when I moved to North Carolina, I was like, damn, it sucks. Like, I'm going to another state with a shitty basketball team, right? I leave Detroit, and then all of a sudden, the Pistons are good. And then I come to North Carolina, and the Hornets are still shit. But to see this team competing is so fun. I think the Hornets are one of those teams where I always say, like, the NBA is good when they're good, but they're never good. So we don't know. Could you guys imagine the Charlotte Hornets were actually good? That might, like, honestly, that might shift the earth off the equator, whatever the fucking term is. I don't know what the term is. When you look at this team, it's very, very exciting. It's very easy to get excited. Oh, I was gonna say earth off its axis. That's the saying. It's very easy to get excited about the squad, but it all comes back to health. And that's something you always have to talk about when you talk about the Charlotte Hornets. And that's what I hate. I just want to talk about the Hornets playing ball, man. I just want to talk about them being healthy. I just want to talk about, instead of LaMelo's not a winning player, I want to talk about LaMelo being a winning player. I want to see LaMelo go into the playoffs. I want to see Brandon Miller up for debates for being most improved. I want to see all of these players succeed on this team, except for Miles Bridges. And it just comes to a point where eventually the franchise needs to make a decision to see what is this team looking like right now. Because there was a statistic that I want to read as well. One of my Hornets fans posted it in the Twitch chat. They, so far, I think in 2026, they are first in offense and third in defense. So when you look at this team, it's so easy to get excited. It's so easy to get excited. All we need to do is make sure we're healthy, and this could be such a fun basketball team. Such a fun basketball team. Yeah, I mean, just keep them in your good vibes. Yeah, keep them in your good vibes. Send some prayers over there. And hopefully the Charlotte Hornets can continue to improve. I've gotten too many podcasts not talking about the Hornets, but this is another time where they've just completely smacked on one of the best teams in the NBA, or not best, but one of the better teams in the NBA. They smacked the Philadelphia 76ers last night. They destroyed the Hornets last week. They destroyed the Denver Nuggets now without Jokic and a bunch of other players. They destroyed the Lakers. They destroyed the Thunder. This is a team that's capable of putting up points on the board. And all I tell you guys is defense is 98% effort. 98% effort. If you put that effort in, you will look better defensively. So hopefully they can continue that pace. And I'm really, really hoping for nothing but success for the Charlotte Hornets, whether that's with LaMelo Ball or whether it's without LaMelo Ball. I don't believe Miles Bridges allegedly beat his girlfriend. I believe he actually did. Obviously, this is a basketball topic. This is a basketball podcast, but I am curious. He was charged with felony domestic violence and child abuse in June 2022, eventually pleading to no contest to a felony charge in November 22 as a part of the deal that included 3 years of probation. Okay, so they came up to a deal. So yes, he is. I mean, anytime. Yeah. So like I said, I'm rooting for everybody on the Charlotte Hornets except for Miles Bridges. Shout out LaMelo. Shout out Con Knips. Shout out Diabetes. Shout out Brandon Miller. I really like this team, man. I really like this team, and I hope for continued success from the Charlotte Hornets. It's very exciting to see this team play well. It's very exciting. It's very, very, very exciting. So now, guys, I got some fun topics that we're going to finish today's episode with. It should be a good amount of time left in this podcast, so nobody go anywhere. TikTok, again, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. We would love to have y'all. That's Jay-Z Uncut. Same name on Twitch. We'd love to have y'all on the Twitch, guys. Come join the conversation. Come join the chat. We'd love to have y'all. If you guys don't know how to type on your keyboard, it's very easy. Just click on the profile picture at the top. Click the link in my bio and come through to the Twitch. Drop a follow. Let me know who you're a fan of. Let's move on to another topic where I want to call. Where are all the trades at? Where are all the trades? This is something that we were talking about after the podcast yesterday, because in case you guys don't know, after I finish recording these podcast episodes, I stay live on Twitch and talk with my community for a bit longer about hoops, about whatever. I sort of want to talk about why there's been no trades so far, other than Trae Young, right? And part of the reason being is what I believe is trade deadlines are all surrounded by a big player, okay? That's a great point, Sammy, and I will be talking about that. They're all related to a big player, okay? So let's talk about big names right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo is hurt right now. He gave us his diagnosis before he even got an MRI. A lot of teams right now are waiting for what happens to Giannis and to other players that I'm going to mention. So, for example, the Miami Heat, they always are involved in these trade talks, right? And something the Miami Heat are always known for is being in the conversation of this team could go after Giannis. This team could go after Shaq. This team could go after LeBron. This team could go after Terry Rozier. So when you look at Giannis, these teams think that they're all in the Giannis sweepstakes. Now, I'll tell you what the biggest deterrent is. There's two big deterrents as to why this trade deadline has been dead, okay? There's two of them. One of them is that the big players, the big names that we know, all of them are hurt. All of them. Let's go over it. Giannis, out. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Anthony Davis, he's out. Kyrie Irving, still out. Ja Morant, still out. Tyler Hero, still out. Jonathan Kuminga, still out. So all of the big names that we've talked about in this trade deadline are hurt. That's one reason. That's one reason why the trade deadline is dead right now. Let's talk about the second reason why the trade deadline's dead right now. And are you guys ready? Because this trade single-handedly ruined the trade deadline for us, y'all. I'd like to give a special shout out to my boy Tyler Hutto. He joined the Twitch stream. You know what else he did? He joined the Discord. He's also a Magic fan. My boy Tyler, stick around. Stick around. We need more Magic fans around here. We need Hornets fans. We need every fan, okay? We're trying to collect all the fans. So TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing right on into the Twitch stream. We'd love to have y'all. If you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription. Come through to the Twitch. That's Jay-Z Uncut. Same name on Twitch. The link is in my bio. The second reason why the trade deadline is dead is because of Trae Young. Now, you guys might be wondering, Jay-Z, what does Trae have anything to do with this? He got traded. The package that teams saw for Trae is what has scared every single team, because now that completely set the standards for the market now. Desmond Bane flooded the market. Mikal Bridges flooded the market. These players who got traded for all their first round picks crashed the market. You guys know how inflation works, right? You guys know how inflation works, right? Money, there's too much money out there, so money continues, the prices continue to go up. Well, the prices have continued to go up for players, but the opposite is happening. Do you guys remember 2008? While I was begging for a Nintendo Wii, playing Wii Sports and screaming in my living room, my parents were in full panic. What are we going to do? The market crashed. Our house is worth shit. Money is worth nothing. What are we going to do? That's happening right now in the NBA. The market has crashed. The NBA is in a market recession. When you trade 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, when you trade 5 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, that flooded the market, and now the NBA is resetting. So since Trae Young went for an expiring contract and Corey Kispert, now all of the other teams are saying, I'm not giving you a first-round pick for Kuminga. Trae Young didn't get a first-round pick. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Bucks are saying, I want 10 draft picks. I want 10. We're not giving you 10. Desmond Bane brought 4. Yeah, but that's Giannis. Bro, we don't have 10 picks to offer you. We're not giving you 10 picks for Giannis. We don't even know if he's going to be healthy. We want 2 first-round picks for Anthony Davis. We believe he can be a final piece to a championship team. I'm not giving you a first-round pick for an injury-prone player. Trae Young just got you an expiring contract. And this is what happens with the NBA. Right now, and I've said it multiple times, restricted free agency is dead in a couple years in the NBA. Free agency is going to be dead in a couple years in the NBA. Everything is going to be happening through the trade deadlines. This is how it's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. I want to give special shout outs to a couple people who left the TikTok and came through to the Twitch. Yeah, I believe so as well, Dully. Dully, Dizzle Do, and Ty Ty, thank you guys so much for leaving the TikTok stream and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you guys very, 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 very much. Shout out to you, Legends, for leaving the TikTok and joining the real basketball knowing community on Twitch. Welcome on in, y'all. Guys, if you can send them the Discord link in the chat, I would really, really appreciate it. Guys, join the Discord. Dully, Dizzle, Ty Ty, Tyler, Juice, Sammy, No Drip, Braylon. All of you guys, be sure to explanation link Discord in the chat and join the Discord up. We'd love to have y'all a part of the community, man. Yeah. And if you guys watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 sub out of my own pocket, guaranteed. I'm going to read this comment from Sammy. He came in and said, New Orleans probably not moving off their 2 first-round picks for Trae and Herb. They got their future for Queen, wanted one of them for the Knicks. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Teams right now are scared to make trades. They are scared to make trades. Chat, if we can get an exclamation point Discord, please, in the chat for them to join it, please, and thank you. Come on, live crew, wake up a little bit. Wake up a little bit, y'all. Let's get an exclamation point Discord. You guys are looking around wondering who's going to do it. If nobody's doing it, you do it. So, my biggest issue with the trade deadline is that the market is flooded now. It's flooded. And this is what's going to happen. Nobody wants to make moves. Everybody's scared to make moves because now you see Mikal Bridges is not bringing that attention that he demanded in New York. Now you're seeing Desmond Bane not doing what he was traded for. Now you're seeing Karl-Anthony Towns not doing what he was traded for. So that involves the market in bleeding. So you see Anthony Davis sitting tight. You see Giannis sitting tight. You see Kyrie. You see Ja. You see Tyler Hero. You see Jonathan Kuminga, who's been sitting tight for the last couple of years. But at the same time, this is what happens in the NBA, y'all. When the market is flooded with first-round picks, and now you realize that you have to build through the draft, that's the biggest reason right now with the trade deadline being dead. Nobody is valued correctly. And that's what happens. So yes, you could say all of these big names are hurt. You could say that. That is one of the reasons. But it's also because the market is fucked. The market is done. And it's going to be that way for the rest of the season. Now, I still believe there's going to be trades, but I think they're mostly going to be marginal. Now, if a Sabonis gets traded, that would be somewhat of a big name. But Sabonis is not exactly a needle mover for a championship level team. Before we move on to our final topic, Leak, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Are we hearing that you are a Pelicans fan? Because we have the Pelicans super fan in this community. Welcome on in. Trey Murphy, Joe Dumars is crazy. He wants 2 first-round picks. No team is going to give you 2 first-round picks. Two first-round picks are way too valuable now. Way too valuable now. Ty came in and said, I understand why Detroit isn't making crazy moves, but I think they need to try to get Clay or bring Dennis back at least. Ty, that's a great point. That's a great point, my boy. I'm a Pistons fan. I've talked about the Pistons too much that my podcast listeners do not like hearing me talk about the Pistons. So don't you worry. I fully agree with you. Ty, Leak. Guys, be sure to join the Discord as well. Thank you guys so much for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I think some great pickups for the Pistons could be Klay Thompson. I think Dennis Schroeder's contract is too expensive now off the bench, especially when you have a player like Dennis Jenkins evolving. We are going to be talking about a lot. Now we're done with the trade talk. Something I want to talk about now. We can talk more trade talk once we're even closer to the deadline because we're like 9 days away and who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, Pistons definitely need a confident secondary ball handler next to Cade, and they need more shooters. That's their biggest issue. But again, I don't want to see a Lauri Markkanen. I don't want to see a Michael Porter Jr. I don't want to see any of that because the moment you do that, you did exactly what the Orlando Magic did. You did exactly. No, you cannot trust a player like Dennis Jenkins in the playoffs, of course. That's why I agree. But again, I do need to reiterate this. You do not want to be like the Orlando Magic. You want to be like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Win a playoff series, maybe win 2 playoff series, make it to the conference finals, and then add that final piece that you believe is the final piece to create that championship level team. Sort of like what the Oklahoma City Thunder did. Do not mimic the Orlando Magic. Do not mimic the New York Knicks. The Magic rushed their process, traded everything for Desmond Bane, and now they screwed themselves for the next decade. You do not want to do that. You do not want to trade multiple first-round picks when you don't even know what you got yet. Right now, the Pistons are ahead of schedule, and you're playing with house money. So just see what you got, and then next offseason decide. Now, guys, I saved a very, very fun topic for the end of this podcast. Let me know. I want to see if this segment is enjoyable for you guys, okay? I've never heard of any podcast do this before. I want to talk about the undesirables around the NBA. I only brought a couple examples, right? I only brought a couple examples. So let me know if you guys want a full episode of this, maybe, where we do all 30 teams, okay? So I want to talk about the undesirables around the NBA. You guys know what I'm talking about. And I got a bunch of examples for you guys, okay? I got a bunch of examples for you guys. Sean, be sure to join the Discord, brother. I need all of you guys to join the Discord. Exclamation point Discord in the Twitch chat, please. Let's talk about the undesirables around the NBA. Now, I'm gonna bring you a player. So this topic is basically going to be all fan bases, not all of them, but we're gonna be talking about some fan bases and that the majority of their fans hate this player, okay? Where all majority of fans can agree they hate this player, and it's all for different reasons, okay? So I'm going to kick this one off. If you guys are in the Discord, you guys could have helped me. Instead, I had to do this by myself and look around all social media. Okay, so up first, just to show you the sort of examples that I'm setting at, every single one of these players are hated by a majority of their fan base, starting up with Caris LeVert, or as Pistons fans call him, not me, they call him Careless Pervert. Now, Caris LeVert was a signing the Pistons made because they lost Schroeder, because the Kings offered him so much money, and because of Malik Beasley getting investigated. So I understand why they went for Caris, but unfortunately, Caris has not worked out for the Detroit Pistons. In fact, he has the lowest plus minus on the entire team. Every time he comes onto the game, he finishes the game in the negatives. Just so you guys can understand, the Pistons won by 40-some points last week, 2 weeks ago. They won by 40-some, and the only players in the negative was Caris LeVert. That was it. How do you win by 40-something and you are still negative in the plus-minus box? Caris LeVert, over his last 10 games before I move on, he's averaging 17% from the three-point line and 34% from the field. I have to repeat myself because it doesn't sound real when I say that. Caris LeVert is shooting 17% from three and 34% from the field. He's also averaging 2 turnovers a game. So Caris LeVert, you are hated by every single Pistons fan. Not one Pistons fan likes Caris LeVert, other than one person, JB Bickerstaff. He loves Karis LeVert. Let's move on to the New York Knicks. Who's their player that they despise? Well, not all, but the majority despise Karl Anthony Towns. Now, you guys might be wondering, why do the New York Knicks fan base despise Karl Anthony Towns? Main reason, he's soft. I can't use the word that Knicks fans use because this is a family-friendly podcast, but he's soft. He's putting up his lowest field goal percentage of his entire career, his lowest field goal percentage of his entire career, and his lowest three-point percentage since his rookie season. And on top of all of that, he is soft. These are Knicks fans' quotes. This is none of my words. I think out of anybody on the entire New York's team, their fans all rally and hate Karl Anthony Towns. It's sad, but I understand. Yeah, also leads the league in most offensive fouls per possession, so that doesn't help either. So yeah, the entire NBA hates Karl Anthony Towns, and the entire New York Knicks fan base hates Karl Anthony Towns. Let's move on to the next. Toronto Raptors fans can all huddle around. Now, here's the thing. Karis LeVert, Pistons fans hate Karis because he sucks at basketball, okay? He's not a good basketball player. Knicks fans hate Karl Anthony Towns because of his attitude. He's soft. Now, let's show you a different kind of hate. Toronto Raptors fans hate Immanuel Quickley, not because of his lack of basketball skills, but because his contract. His contract is way too much money for the production that you get out of him. Now, his three-point percentage, he's shooting 37%. Field goal percentage, 44%. But he's not a point guard. And that's the thing. You love IQ as a player because he's fun, but that contract makes you hate him. And that's to show you that every single player on this list that I'm showing you, all of these fan bases hate them, but for different reasons. Now, we can do the entire NBA, but I do still have a few more lined up. Everyone likes IQ as a person. Everyone likes IQ as a player, but he's not a point guard, and he's got an unbelievable contract. Let's move on to the next team. The Los Angeles Lakers. Who do they hate? They all hate DeAndre Ayton. And it's somewhat of a different reason as well. Dully, by the way, I've read your message 5 times and you've sent it, my boy. I only respond to messages that are like sort of feeding the topic of discussion. So like, you don't need to keep repeating it. Believe me, I've read it 10 times. All the times you've sent it, Dully, don't apologize. Don't apologize. You're new here. For everybody, so that you guys understand how the chat goes. I'm still reading all of your messages. I only read some certain ones out. You know what I mean? So yeah, no apologizing. I'm recording right now. So right now the podcast is going to hear me call you out. Anybody that's listening on Spotify or Apple or YouTube or watching this after the fact, they see me now talking to you, Dully. And that's okay. Dully, this is your spot. This is your attention. You deserve it. You came to the Twitch stream, so you matter a lot, and I appreciate you a bunch. Now, again, you're asking a great question. Wouldn't you consider Gabe Vincent or Rui? Yes, but I think the collective community despises DeAndre Ayton. I'd like to give a special shout out to Jeb Ray. Jeb Ray, thank you so much for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you very, very much. Shout out to you. Remember, guys, if you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription. So now's the perfect time to swing on into the Twitch. I appreciate you guys very, 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 very much. Yes, that Lakers fans also hate Maxi Kleber. They just wanted to let me know, but he came in the Luka deal. So what are you going to do? Now, DeAndre Ayton. Lakers fans all collectively hate him. And it's funny enough, their head coach hates him as well. Now, DeAndre Ayton is weird because it's like, he's got all the tools to be a great player, but he's just not. He's got all the tools. He's a 7-footer. He's got a long wingspan. He's good at rebounding. He's got everything. But the one thing that DeAndre Ayton shares with one of these players in this list is Karl Anthony Towns. They don't have passion. They don't have finesse. They don't have aggression. They are just not, they don't like him. I think that's a great comparison. Yes, they lack motor. I think that's a great comparison. A modern day Kwame Brown. Had Kwame Brown been given the opportunity that DeAndre Ayton has had, then maybe things would be different. But honestly, the lack of skill, I mean, that's not. And somebody in the TikTok said, what do you mean he's shooting 66% from the field? He's 7 foot. He's taking nothing but layups and dunks. That should be 70. I'd like to give a special shout out before we move on to our next player, Prada Beezy. I like that name, Prada Beezy. Thank you for the follow. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you very, 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 very much. Guys, if you came to the Twitch, be sure to type in !Discord in the chat and join the Cord. All right? Join the Discord. Join it. And then on top of all of that, guys, if you watch the Twitch stream 3 streams in a row, listen, if you watch the Twitch stream for 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription out of my own pocket. Okay? Get involved in the community. The Twitch is Jay-Z Uncut. It's the same name. The link is in my bio. So I think all Lakers fans can agree. They all want to like DeAndre Ayton. See, that's another different stat. Everyone wants to like DeAndre Ayton. They all want to like him. But they can't. They can't. Now, this next player, remember, all these players are hated for different reasons. That's why I brought them all up for examples. This next player is hated by not just their fan base because they're stupid. Sorry, not all of them, not all of them. I'd like to say this is generalization. We're not using absolutes here. I do not, Mello. We're not going for all absolutes, right? But the majority of this fan base hates this player, but this player does not deserve the hate. Rudy Gobert of the Minnesota Timberwolves is one of the most hated players in the NBA. In fact, he's one of the most hated by their entire fan base. And yet, I understand to an extent, Rudy Gobert can't catch the ball. He's got rocks as hands. He cannot physically catch a basketball that's thrown to him. And he has no offensive bag whatsoever. The reason why Rudy Gobert does not deserve the hate that he gets from his fan base is quite obvious, ladies and gentlemen. He does not deserve it. Rudy Gobert has and here's the thing. Prada Breezy came in and said Gobert is the most untalented player in NBA history. But here's the thing. Rudy Gobert has the highest on and off plus minus in the entire NBA right now. When Rudy Gobert is on the court, the Timberwolves are winning by 15. When Rudy Gobert is off the court, the Timberwolves are losing by 15. So everybody's saying that he's the most untalented player. Ladies and gents, that is the biggest plus minus off and off swing of any player in the NBA right now. More than Cade Cunningham, more than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, more than Jaylen Brown, more than any other player in the NBA. And defense doesn't get appreciated anymore. It's because you're getting Naz Reid, who doesn't play defense, versus a guy that does play defense, nothing but defense. Rudy Gobert, when he's on the court, is winning by 15 points. When he's off the court, they're losing by 15 points. I know Rudy may look tall and gumpy, but he's the reason why screen assists exists. He's the sole reason why players don't want to challenge him at the rim. Whenever they see Rudy Gobert, they run in the opposite direction. Because there's another statistic that got added into the NBA because of Rudy. It's altering shots, not block shots. Shots altered. And Rudy Gobert, for the last 7 years, has led the NBA in most shots altered around the rim per season. So, yes, he might look gumpy. Yes, he might look stupid when he's on the court. But guess what? And he can't guard the perimeter. That's fine. But guess what? He's one of the best defensive presence as far as big men goes, almost in the entire NBA history when you look at those DPOIs, when you look at the shots altered. And my God, I got to be honest, he rocks a bald head, man. That's one sexy MF. Rudy Gobert rocks the bald head. He's a good-looking dude. He's a very good-looking dude. Let's move on to the next team. The next team. Who does this team, what is this team, and who do they hate? Well, this entire fan base of the Miami Heat despises one man and one man only. And it's not because he's white. Well, a little bit. I think most of them hate him because he's white. Tyler Herro of the Miami Heat. I've talked to all Miami Heat fans all around the world, and they all despise Tyler Herro. Now, why? Why, you might ask? He's averaging 22 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3 assists per game, 1 steal, half a block. He's shooting 50% from the field, 36% from deep, and 90% from the free throw line. Now, why do Heat fans despise Tyler Herro? Why? The ball ends with Tyler Herro. The shot attempts, the shot diet, it's not great. And then his availability now, he's hurt. He's not consistent. He's a traffic cone on defense. He's got shitty tattoos. Tyler Herro is one of those players that only plays one side of the court. And when you do that, you got to be prolific at that side of the court. If you're not Jalen Brunson, if you're not 2016 Steph Curry, if you're not one of these unbelievable talents offensively to where you can ignore the fact that they don't play defense, but he's not that good at offense, so you can't ignore it. The entire Miami Heat fan base hates Tyler Herro. That plus his contract, plus the no defense, plus the shitty tattoos. Miami Heat fans despise Tyler Herro. Now, I got one last player. No, sorry, we got a couple more. Couple more, so lock in. Dolly, this is for you. Believe me, I did not forget. I know my basketball. The entire state of California, in fact, entire Bay Area, hates one man. And his name is Pods. Brandon Pods of the Golden State Warriors. Now, why do they hate this guy? Why? I'll tell you why. He doesn't deserve the hate. He does not deserve it. He's averaging 12 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1 steal, 46% from the field, and 39% from deep. Now, I'm seeing a lot of you guys say Pods is so bad. Pods really does deserve the hate. I'm seeing that comment, and that's somewhat disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Because Pods, as a backup point guard, shit, I would love him in Detroit. I would love him in Detroit. Straight up. You know why they hate him? Ah, damn it, Newsom. Why'd you have to take it out of my mouth? Because they didn't trade him for Lauri Markkanen. That is why a lot of Golden State fans hate Pods. Now, another shout out why they hate him is because they are asking him to do way too much, and he's not that kind of player. They're asking him to be Curry Jr. This motherfucker ain't Curry Jr. He's far from the opposite. His stats are good. He passes. You know what? You know what the biggest testament of time is in the NBA? The eye test. The eye test. What do I mean by that? Well, the eye test is something that most NBA players pass because they're professional athletes. They're being paid hundreds of millions of dollars. But some of these players do not pass the eye test. For example, Caris LeVert doesn't pass the eye test, doesn't pass the basketball test. Karl-Anthony Towns, he passes the basketball test, but does not pass the eye test. So that's where the awkward nuances come. Brandon Pods passes the eye test. He looks like a competent basketball player. He looks like a good basketball player until you ask him to do things that he can't do, like run the floor consistently, like shoot at a high percentage, high clip from deep, and ask him to run the offense. He's not capable of that. You're asking Pods, you're handing him a lineup of Guy Santos, Trace Jackson Davis, D'Anthony Melton, and Cam Spencer, and you're saying, good luck. This guy doesn't know who he's playing with for half his games. So Pods does not deserve the hate, and they hate him for different reasons. They want him to be Curry. They wanted him to be Lauri Markkanen, but unfortunately, they never made the trade for Lauri Markkanen. So y'all can let me know what you think. Dransom, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, 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 very much. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream, my boy. Be sure to join the Discord, exclamation point Discord in the chat. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, guys, remember, if you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, 3, I will gift you a $5 subscription out of my own wallet. Let's move on to my final player. Final player. But I got a bonus one at the end. Final player. Oh, this one's pretty easy. This entire city of Dallas hates Anthony Davis, and it's not even his fault. And this is the saddest one of them all. Saddest one of them all. Anthony Davis is hated because he's always hurt. Anthony Davis is hurt, and that's not his fault. Anthony Davis is not Luka Doncic, and they hate him. Because Anthony Davis is not Luka, they hate him. Because they traded him for Luka, they hate him. Because he's always hurt, they hate him. So this is not Anthony Davis's fault, but the entire fan base, I can't believe that. The entire fan base hates him because he's not Luka and because he's always hurt. So that's the unfortunate truth about Anthony Davis. It's like I said, all of these people, I can't believe people were genuinely telling me to trade Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart, and a first-round pick for Anthony Davis, bro. All right, and I got a bonus one for everybody, y'all. I got a bonus one because there's one team. I was considering the Bulls, but I couldn't think of anybody, so I was like, you know what? There is somebody there is something that a lot of people hate. And maybe if you guys enjoyed this, we can do this all around the NBA. In fact, we can riddle it down to the entire history of the NBA. Okay. Dizzle dude came into the Twitch and said, can't stand AD. Maybe if he would have started his career in Dallas and start. Yeah, I mean, hey, I understand that, man. I understand that. Now, I got a bonus one for y'all because there's one team in the NBA that I just didn't add on here because none of their players, like, the fans don't hate their players. Does that make sense? The fans don't hate their players, but they hate one man. One man. If you guys want me to do a full episode of this, be sure to let me know. Stick around into the Twitch. Don't leave when we're done with this player. Stick around because even when we end the TikTok and we end the podcast, we're still live for a little bit. And that's why I have the city of Sacramento all gathering around and hating on Vivek. Vivek. If you guys don't know who Vivek is, he is the owner of the Sacramento Kings, and he has drove this franchise into the mud. I wanted to do a player, but unfortunately, Sac fans don't hate one player. They don't hate Sabonis. They don't hate DeMar DeRozan. They don't hate Dennis Schroeder. They don't hate Zach LaVine. They love their team. Sacramento loves their team. But this man cares about one thing, and of course, most owners do. But this man has quite literally ran this franchise into the ground. I called for attention last summer to Adam Silver to step in and take ownership from this man because he does not deserve to own a basketball team. He does not. And that's why I say the entire state, the entire city of Sacramento despises Vivek. Guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. That is going to do it. Now, Twitch chat. Stick around. Nobody go anywhere. DZ is better. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Big shout out to you. Massive shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you very, very much. Now, Twitch chat, stick around. YouTube, TikTok. I appreciate y'all very, very much for watching. Be sure to tune into the Twitch. We are still live on Twitch right now. Again, that's JZ Uncut on Twitch. Be sure to follow on whatever platform you're watching on right now. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Nobody does it like us. I mean, we didn't even talk about any Lakers. We didn't talk about anything today. We started the podcast with the Orlando Magic and then the Charlotte Hornets. So you truly get things that you don't get in any other podcast. We're not talking about just big market teams. We're talking about all market teams. All sizes matter, chat. TikTok, YouTube, that's going to do it for y'all. I got nothing left to say to you guys except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Spotify, Apple, I still care about you guys as well. All right? Leave those reviews. Okay? Thank you for watching or listening. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Twitch chat. Stick around. Live crew, you guys are the best.